Hey Jess,
How you doing?
very well. How are you?
I'm good. Same thing happened this week with that with the
Hey Jess, it's all good, Jess. We understand. We know you're gonna get it together.
no, it's the I don't know what's wrong with my Zoom. It's like it fell. I'll fix it. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Um, as you guys know, today is going to be our trading plan call. I am going to have to break it up into two parts though, because once I like completed all the slides, it's definitely going to exceed our time. But how many people saw what I was saying? Like before we get into that call, how many people saw what I was saying in regards to like the DXY? And y'all remember how I was saying last week that it was breaking that trend line, making me a little iffy?
Yes.
Yeah, so that literally played out. And then we're still in those consolidated states in both GU. Well, actually, let me just share screen real quick. Um, hold on. Share. Okay, can everybody see my screen? So this is where we
Yep.
were last week when I was saying that like
Yes.
I didn't really like how like price was breaking this line. And as you guys know, or like I had talked about last week, like oftentimes we have the quote and the base in the quote. So with the DXY and on GU as well as gold with like the dollar index being that quote pair, I was expecting like when I saw this trend line structure breaking, it kind of changed my bias because at first I was having like well, of course, we know we have to break out of these consolidated states first. So, like, even if we look at this structure, we had that high part that was highlighted last week, which is the blue going across the top. And then we also had, hold on, full screen. And then we also had these ranges that were along the side here. So we see how like even when we had this like break here and how price like respected this area and then literally it's just been going in between these up until the point where we had the break into here and testing this zone here. So of course that led to the exact opposite on both GU and gold. And when I talked about like still being in these ranges, if we drag this over and drag this over, this is still in what we talked about as our overall consolidating state. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we still want to look like as price continues to form for our like actual structure and retest out of these areas. Cause even here, how we went a little bit above and like right here, we went a little bit below, a little bit below. Like you want to make sure you have full break. Don't just jump into trades. Okay. Everybody with me?
Yes.
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 All right. I don't want to spend too much time on the charts though, because I do want to go ahead and go into our trading plan call. Let me just make sure I put this in the group. Okay, perfect. I did. Um, and let's go ahead and share this PowerPoint. Okay. Hi guys. So welcome. All right. I hope everybody's having a great and fantastic Sunday. So, you guys know at the start of every year, we typically do like a vision board party. So then we talked about like changing it this year and going into like a trading plan party, right? So, I just took a lot of the stuff that was actually in the trading plan that you already have at the end of the course. I took a lot of that stuff and combined it or comprised it into a PowerPoint. But a lot of the stuff, remember, there was one thing in particular that I talked about last week that I need everybody to do prior to hopping on this call. And what was it?
Know
Know
what
what
you
kind of
want.
trader you are?
Go.
Knowing what you want. Okay, because when it comes to trading plans in general, that is the main thing. Like you have to know what you want because a lot of this stuff is contingent upon your individual lifestyles. As I go into it, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. But like somebody who works a nighttime shift job is going to have a completely different trading plan from somebody who, let's say, is a full-time mom with 4 kids, or somebody who literally works a 9 to 5 that has the luxury of waking up for a London session, or like your own individual lifestyles will kind of tailor into how, especially when it comes to your trading times, it'll kind of tailor into how that is comprised. And then also your own individual personalities go into that as well. So like depending on how patient you are, or depending on how greedy you are, depending on if you're more of a fear-based person, like we all are different and we all have different needs. We all have different interests, no different than some people, like y'all know I trade GU and gold mostly. Some other people might trade completely different pairs than that, right? So no different than you have the certain pairs that you like. It's the exact same thing with your own individual lifestyles. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it
perfect.
does.
Yes.
So in your trading plan, once you finish the course, this quote is like one of my favorite trading quotes. This is in the trading plan that you guys have. And it says, the goal of a successful trader is to make the best trades. The money is secondary. All right. So once you like, most people, when they approach trading, or when they say, oh, I want to be a trader, right? Most people are just looking at it from a monetary aspect. I mean, I think we all, like, even when I first got into trading, I was just like, wait, what is this? Like, I can make this much money? Like, what? Like, my entire interest towards the skill set was financial based, but then also aligning with the fact that, like, I could make my own schedule and I had all of these different things. And I'm a very analytical person. So, like, it just lined up. But the first thing was, I was really, really focused on the money, right? But that's not the best way to be. Now, once you get exposed to understand that, okay, we can make a lot of money doing this. I've told you guys before that, like, you also want to really see and have discernment, like, okay, is this what God has for me? And the only reason I say that is because there are a million different ways to become a millionaire. Now, because most of you guys are my students and then people on YouTube, like you're actually seeking out trading, then there has to be, of course, some interest involved. So that means that somewhere in your analytical brain or somewhere in your lifestyle, this interests you and you like it, but you also have to make sure it's for you, meaning that you are going to do what it takes to become a successful trader, because in that, if you are not a disciplined person, you will never become a successful trader. And that's just a fact. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. So we are going to break down each one of these in depth, but this is the premise of the keys in a trading plan. So the first is clear objective. Again, I'm gonna break down each one in depth, but you want to define your financial goals and your risk tolerance. So before we even take any trades, like we want to know, okay, long-term, short-term, like so forth and so on. I'm gonna go into it in a few, but I just want to go over these. The second is trading execution. So you want to outline your approach, including entry and exit criteria. We talk about technicals and fundamental analysis, and then risk management. Those are like the main key things in trading. And then in risk management, okay, you want to specify your risk per trade. Of course, stop loss levels if you use them, which I do recommend using them. And then position sizing to make sure that all of you guys are protecting your capital. And then market analysis. How are you going to analyze and stay informed about market trends and news? So what I mean by that is even no different than you guys marking up when the market closes and then analyzing your charts so that by the time the market opens on Sundays, you kind of have a gist of where you're going. All right. Next, record keeping. So you want to maintain a trading journal. You want to track your trades, outcomes, and lessons learned. So we'll talk about that more in depth. Also, a contingency plan. So basically what this means is like unexpected things always happen in the market. You guys know that I'm a very big proponent of news always pushes the trade literally where you want it to be. That even happened this past week, I think Thursday, I believe Thursday. But you always want to make sure you understand where you are in the market, okay? Because that's very important. We've talked about that plenty of times before, but we'll go more in detail with it. And then a trading schedule. All right. You want to establish when and how often you're going to trade. You're going to consider market hours and personal commitments. So let's go into each one of these in detail. First, the first one that I had, which was the clear objectives. So the first thing you want to do is define your financial goals and risk tolerance. Okay. So in Forex, it involves considering your personal circumstances. So again, like I talked about at the very beginning of this presentation, is everybody is different. Okay. Even when we talked about savings accounts on one of our last calls, when we talked about like how much people save, some people wouldn't even think about saving $100,000. And then some of you guys had 100,000 saved. Some of you guys only had like 5,000 saved. Like these goals, one, you have to expand your mind, but also you also want to be very realistic about these numbers, because you can't necessarily say like, hey, I want to become a multimillionaire and you never even made $100,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, that can be your goal, but the steps that are there, or the steps that you're going to have to take to acquire these things and add them up, are extremely important. Like, we can't just jump from A to Z. We have to build this like brick by brick. Okay. So quantify your goals. Ooh, I left the you out, but quantify your goals. Do they align with you? Are they realistic? Like, what are your goals? So remember, I asked you guys, tell me something that when I asked you guys last week, that I wanted you guys to think about what it is that you want. I want to know, I do want to know, what are some of you guys' goals in trading? Anybody?
Be consistent and making solid trades.
Okay.
That's my goal.
Two
All
grand a month.
Are you
Yep,
talking about a financial goal?
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever your goals are, but they can be financial. But Xavier, what did you say your financial goal was? How much a
Two grand a
month?
month.
2 grand a month. Okay.
Just
Cool.
mine is to get up off this 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
to eventually
Mine is
get to
1,000 a week.
Oh,
Actually, how about y'all write it in the chat? Because I want to read them.
okay.
Write your chat, write them out. Okay. Double my current salary, 10% a week, 20% a week, 2K a week, pay off debts with profits, 1,000 a week. So I love the weekly goals because they give you an indication of how you are going to get to your monthly goals. And once you can identify, like we talk about this, and I think I talked about this even in your course, where we can know where we want our lives to be next, right? But we can't break down a year without breaking down the months. You can't break down months without literally breaking down weeks, and you can't break down weeks without breaking down days. Now in trading, I told you guys, even when you guys did your first trading plan, in that video where I talked about how you don't want to have a daily profit as a trader, and the only reason is because the market's not going to always present an opportunity every single day, but within that week you will definitely have opportunity of some sort to reach your goals. So I love the weekly goals the most because you're able to scale those. So like, let's say somebody says, oh, I want to make X amount a day. Okay, Monday, am I just gonna force a trade? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes your opportunity might not be there, your entry might not be there. Does that make sense?
Correct. Yes, it does.
Yes.
So you want to make
100%.
sure, you always want to make sure that you have your setups there. And your setups are extremely important because of course we know our entries and our confirmations are what leads to our successful trades. So we don't want to just place a trade just because the market is open. We want to place a trade once the market comes to you and the opportunity is readily available. All right. So after understanding if your goals align, okay, what are your short-term goals? So again, the weekly goals are exceptional, all right? Understanding how much I want to scale my account per week. Now, what are your long-term goals? So that is when we could kind of get into, honestly, when I do my long-term goals, even though some people might not look at this as long-term, but I break them down into quarterly because that is just how I work best. I want to make sure I'm shooting for that. You don't want it to be so far out that you aren't working towards it daily. Does that make sense? Like if you, and especially even y'all know, like I stopped trading as much when I first was pregnant and y'all remember I literally went down to like one trade a week, right? But I would literally go through and like make sure I was like at least somewhat reaching my goal. So all of the trades that I even took, remember they were very meticulous. Like I wasn't hopping at anything unless it was crystal clear, but I still wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have my goals aligned first. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, here, because I saw some of you guys had percentage based and then some of you guys had money target. Either one is fine because some people quantify things differently. Okay. Are your goals a money target or are your goals percentage based? So even in you guys' course where I talked about, or at in you guys trading plan in the course, I even asked this question because some people can say, hey, I want to make 500 or $1,000 a week or $2,000 a week or whatever the case may be. And some people can just say, hey, I want to scale my account every single week. Like I want to get 3% profit of whatever, or I want to get 10% profit of whatever my account size is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So is this slide clear?
Yes.
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 I need everybody to answer these questions now then. You don't have to do it to me, but I don't want this to just be a call where you guys like are looking at it and then you don't actually do like fill out the questions. I need you guys to like literally have a notepad or a notebook or however you want to do this. If you're on your computer, your phone, whatever, I need you to literally write 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can kind of combine it. Because 4 and 5, they're basically the same, just depending on you. So let me give you guys like 2 minutes on that. And like even when I was reading in the group or in the chat where like some of you guys said my goal is to like, leave my job or pass this down to my children and stuff like that can literally be included in your long-term goals, right? But of course, first we want to conquer us first. Y'all remember when I talked about a long time ago when I talked about how you have to set your boundaries. And of course, our children are our children, so we're going to give them everything that we have. But when I talked about how, y'all remember a long time ago when I talked about this, and I talked about it, I think I went over it. I was talking about Lisa Nichols at the time, and I was talking about how she like gave this speech, and she was talking about like if you put a teacup on a saucer, and then you fill the teacup up, everything that's in the cup is like for you, and you don't give to people until the overflow is on the plate, and everything that's in on the saucer is what you give to other people, but you have to make sure you're taken care of first. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
So that's extremely important in trading, because when I say you have to be laser vision focused, like y'all even know, and I think Angelica talked about this a long time ago, where she talked about how like, I know like when people start trading and you start to see a little bit of success and stuff and you want to help other people, but it's just like you literally, like even in my journey, when I told y'all, Maria was my first student because I did not want to deviate from me. Like you're so fragile in this. And until you get 100% confidence, other people can sway your analysis. You know what I'm saying? Like other people have the ability to like infiltrate your thoughts because it's already something that is speculated that you really, while you're learning, you don't know 100%. You're just really trying to figure it out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah. Once you continuously have the consistency, then okay, that's when you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. That's when you get into the saucer part. But the part that's in your cup, like your eyes should not look to the left. They shouldn't look to the right. Like even when I talk about people should not have accountability partners, like trading partners, like, hey, let's hop on this live and trade together. Like nobody should be doing that, only because this is such an independent space. Like in order for you to 100% focus, because the moment you do that is the moment that you lose a trade. The moment you do that is when you second guess yourself because somebody else was looking at super minor structure and you were looking at an overall trade. And then because they said sell, but you knew that you were looking for a buy, but their sell was only like a few pips, but you end up hopping in, right? And then literally the trade just completely go against you because your entry's terrible because you was listening to somebody on a damn Zoom call. That makes sense?
Yes.
Definitely.
For sure.
Risk tolerance. We're still in our clear objectives. We need to be very clear about this. How much capital can you afford to lose without affecting your financial well-being? What is that number? And set that money aside. Like whether it is, I want to allocate this amount per paycheck to go towards trading, whatever that number is, I need you to set that money aside. Okay. Now, also in this, nobody should be trading until they have the skill set first. Okay. And I've talked about this multiple times because the biggest way to mess up your psychology in trading, literally the biggest way to mess up your psychology, is to keep funding an account and constantly keep losing trades. That is not what we're doing. That is not what we're here for. Trading is not gambling. Trading is a skill set. You have to master the skill set. And until you master the skill set, you should not be funding an account. Okay? Learn the skill set first. Practice consistently. And if you are not the type of person that can practice in a demo account because you don't look at it as your real money, then you need to, one, work on your discipline, but also if it works best for you to fund a small account and take smaller lot sizes until you get your consistency there, then that's fine also. But the only thing about that is that when you constantly only see those small numbers, then you're scared to place larger lot sizes. You would literally get trapped into only seeing these small numbers. And then when you start to see the bigger numbers, you're going to have like a literal sense of fear that you will not be able to break. So I don't want anybody to like constantly get used to using freaking 0.0s or even 0.1s. Like the whole goal in this is to literally accumulate wealth and success. So you don't want to constantly be using small numbers where you're scared of the larger numbers, but you also, so that's why I'm saying that it's super critical and important that you do not keep funding an account and trading until you master the skill set. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Consider your comfort level with market fluctuations. All right. So what I mean by that is when we pick our pairs, gold, like there's a reason that I tell you guys until you guys master at least 70 straight wins on regular currency, nobody should be trading US 30 or NASDAQ or any other indice or no. And it's not because I want to micromanage or control you guys, okay? Because of course you guys have 100% free will, but it's because I am trying to protect you guys. Because the problem is that if somebody is not properly equipped, yes, you can make a lot of money on US 30, but you can also lose your entire account on US 30. It moves very, very fast. If you are not able to stomach the fluctuations that occur, you can easily damage your psychology. And I do not, well, like my protection level is trying to implement or trying to help you guys to the point where you guys don't put yourself in a situation where you become damaged and literally scared of the market just because you didn't take the proper steps of approaching this the correct way. Does that make sense?
Sure does.
Yes.
So even when it comes to, I mean, even fast Forex pairs, like, I mean, gold is a fast pair, GJ is a fast pair. I mean, most GBP pairs are like, they're more, I mean, we know that London session is more volatile, right? Like the market moves fast. So if you guys need to go to a slower pair like AUD USD or like a NZD pair or something like that, because your risk tolerance isn't there, then that's perfectly fine also. So again, like we talked about at the beginning of this call, you have to define what you want and basically who you are, because this answer is going to be completely different for everybody on this call. All right. Last is you want to factor in your experience, knowledge, and emotional resilience. So that goes into, again, like I have some students, they kill US 30 and I am rooting for them, but I also know that they've been doing this for a while and they're properly equipped with the tools that they need to be able to trade it successfully. They are not like babies in the market. And it's okay to be a baby in the market. I was a baby in the market at one point, but there are so many things you have to master before you get expert level in the market. And what I mean by that is your, exactly like I put right here, your experience level, like not just how long have you traded. There are some people that have traded for freaking 8 years and touched the market once every 3 months and still stuck at trading. Like, that's not what I mean by experience level. Experience does not quantify time, okay? Your experience level meaning how consistent are you? So when I talk about those 70 straight wins in the market of no less than 30 pips, like how adequate are you with seeing where you need to enter the market and where you need to exit to make these proper positions and make these proper trades? Like how resilient are you when you start to see a little bit of drawdown? Like, is it like every time the market turns red, you say, damn, I should have pulled that when it was in the blue, because you don't understand that when you enter, like, one, there's a spread, and two, volatility is going to happen until you get to the point that you were supposed to go to in the first place. Like, all of these questions are telling you your experience base. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Your knowledge, okay? Your knowledge is literally something as simple as that gold trade that I talked about a couple weeks ago, where I was just like, the way this is set up, or even last week when I talked about the DSY, when I was like, okay, y'all, we just gonna sit on our hands real quick because we need some more data to play out, because the way this is forming right now does not look like it's not a proper setup. It's not super clear. So we don't want to force anything. We just want to wait. Or the gold trade a couple weeks ago where I talked about how I was expecting it to retest that trend line a couple of times before just dropping because of where we were in the market and how, because it had reached that all-time high, it was really an anomaly, and we don't want to just X that out. Like, that is your knowledge. Like, and that really comes from the experience of constantly being in the market and going through these processes where, again, where, like I talked about last week, when you know your mom or you know your sister or you know your brother or you know your spouse, like, you know your children, like, this is how you have to know your peers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally have a relationship. Like, I have a relationship with GU, and I have a relationship with Gold, and I have a relationship with GJ. Like, I know how they move. Does that make sense? And emotional resilience, I mean, I kind of touched on that when I talked about experience, is if you feel like you are having a heart attack in the market, okay? Like, the moment your account turns red, you're like panicking or freaking out, or you're constantly looking at your phone and you're constantly like looking at your computer like, oh my God, what's happening right now? Or damn, I should have pulled that. Or you're not even looking at your structure. You just see drawdown and your heart is pounding. You are not ready yet. You are still going through a process that you have to master, but like emotionally, you have not detached yourself from understanding that this job is supposed to be like that. Does that make sense? And if you understand that it's supposed to be like that, then certain things you should expect. And if you have the expectation of these things, they shouldn't affect you like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
Yes.
Or you over leveraged.
Well, we gonna get there. But I'm talking about not even over leverage. I'm talking about like literally people just freaking out right now. Okay? Because over leveraging, that goes into like risk management. Right now, we just talking about like your tolerance level as like a trader and a human being.
Actually, Jess, can you like talk on that for a little bit? Because that's something I'm experiencing. I'll place a trade and I'll just get a whole bunch of anxiety, and then I'll pull the trade and then the trade will play out. And then I'll be mad at myself that I pulled the trade.
Yes. So it's literally exactly what I just said about the emotional resilience. Like, what's the best way I could tell you to get over this?
Completely accepting the risk.
Back testing a lot.
Constantly seeing your trades play out back to back, right? Like, there's a reason that at the last 4 weeks of the course, I have y'all only do the bars pattern. Now, of course, do those bars patterns as long as you need to, right? Even when you guys analyze, you should be doing the bars pattern. But I mean, do them as long as you need to without the trades, like without actually placing the trades, because that works on your psychology. And I'm going to go into this in a few more slides, but remember we talk about trading is 3 things. Where do I get in? Where do I get out? And where's the market going? If you constantly see that you understand where the market is going, because your bars patterns are constantly playing out, then that means you need to now hone in on your entries and your exits. And we'll talk about a little bit about that in a minute. But just placing a trade and having anxiety, that means that, have you lost a lot of trades in the past? Like before me or before you came to me?
Yes, I actually did. I never traded until I got to you. And then when I actually started trading, and I didn't really follow the directions because I wasn't being disciplined. So now I kind of messed up my psychology and I have to go back and be disciplined, if you get what I'm saying.
I mean, I appreciate your honesty with sis. That's what I be talking about. Even when I talk about what I just said about US 30, it's like people damage themselves. And I just wish people would just listen to me, because I know like how hard, once you're damaged, it's 10 times harder to get out of that psychological rut than it would be to just do everything right from the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
You're 100%
Everybody not
correct.
built like that though.
Because
said-
now,
You're blessed to
all
get JESS first.
I know, right? I really am. But all my trades play out. Like all my analysis, they play out. It's just more of like the execution part I'm really struggling with. And it's because I've damaged my psychology.
So basically, when you first started placing trades, you was just gambling it out and just placing them.
Okay, so I didn't do the last 4 weeks of the top-down analysis.
Girl, what?
Don't ask me why. I just didn't do it. And I just started like I was marking up, but then I just started trying to execute them. So it's more so though trusting myself that this is correct because I was jumping in trades to jump in them because I was too excited.
Yeah. So like where Xavier just said, everybody not built like that in regards to the discipline. It really saddens me, Xavier, that was your response.
I know, but for me, I'm hard headed. I want to know the ins out of everything. So I just learn through my mistakes. And I know it sucks, but after I get through it, it's like I know what I know, you know? So I get what
Super
you're
hard
saying,
headed.
but I'm just not built like that. I just I hit all the bumps. And then when I make it out, that's when I feel confident.
What's the
Hard
saying
headed.
is hard head make us off behind.
I ask
But
all the questions. If nobody's asking questions, I'll ask the question and I'll find the answer. And then for me, I just want to know. I like to know more than I like to know everything ever since I was a kid. So
If I could add one thing right quick, Jess, like I feel like this. You've already gone through the fire. You chopped down the weeds for us and everything like that. And I heard you say on several occasions, you put your heart into this course. So if you say left, right, up, down, I feel like we should just follow left, right, up, down.
You should. And Proverbs.
it's true though, because everything that I did comes right back to, oh yeah, she said that. I'm not gonna lie. Every single time, it's always, oh, she said that.
I need you to go read your Proverbs, please, because I need you to gain wisdom. And that's all I'm gonna say. The book of Proverbs is the book of wisdom. And anybody that just wants to learn the hard way, I need everybody to just go read Proverbs. It will help you outside of trading also.
Okay, we'll do.
Oh yeah.
And
okay, thank you.
This is 31 chapters, one chapter per month. Or per day, rather.
Per day.
One
Per day,
chapter a
not per
day.
month, per day. One chapter per day.
I got it
That's
right here.
right. There you go.
Wisdom?
Yes, sir.
Come on, wisdom.
But
Okay.
can I also say this? I also feel like it's an individual because although, going through your course and everything, I literally been in your class for 2 years, but I've had to learn just for myself. Like I did the 4 weeks, I did everything, but I still messed up a lot. But just the fact that I've been taking the time on the charts month after month after month, on your calls, doing all of the things like yourself, you start building that discipline and that patience and that consistency yourself. So it's like you start learning, like, all right, you know what? She's right about these things. But
That's two different things,
That's
right?
what I was saying though, because I feel like I understand from the experience that I had. Everything you said registers a lot more, just because I seen what you're saying. Like if you say it and then I do it and I don't see it myself, it's like I'm just a robot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's completely different from not doing the course and just saying, I'm just gonna hop in just because I want to hop in.
Oh, my bad.
yeah, you're right about that.
That's what I was saying when she was saying that she didn't do the last 4 weeks of the course and she just wanted to hop in. Like that's completely different from actually going through. Like some things, okay, what I mean by this, right? Some things are experience, right? But you still follow rules. Okay. So
True.
example. In boxing, you can go to the corner and your coach says, you need a duck, right? But until your ass get hit in the face, you don't really understand that you need to duck. that might not be a proper example, but I'm just,
Facts.
it's like until you feel the pain, like you can know psychologically, okay, I need to duck. But like, I don't know, maybe that wasn't a good example.
If you got kids,
It's a good
I-
you
analogy.
understand.
That's
If
a
you got
perfect
kids,
example.
you know.
No,
Like,
I think it is a good example, Jess, because you told her to go read the book of Proverbs because of wisdom. And wisdom is the action, like actually applying knowledge. And so what she's trying to tell everybody is that she has given you knowledge, but actually using wisdom is actually going to go apply that knowledge. Just like she just gave the example of boxing. If your trainer is telling you to dunk, that's you getting information, that's you acquiring the knowledge. Now, wisdom is actually you dunking. So she just saying, go increase your wisdom so you can actually act on what she's teaching, if that makes sense.
Facts.
Yes,
Facts.
that's
Facts.
great explanation.
Okay,
That's
There's a
facts.
wise saying.
That's facts.
There's an old saying, a wise
Let's not
man learns
excuse
from their
discipline.
own. There's an old saying, a wise man learns from others' mistakes, a fool learns from their own.
yeah. I feel like that's a scripture too.
Hey,
Let's
another
not
thing too, Jess, another thing too for people, like, I don't know who on the call has bought other courses like prior to Jess and everything like that, but there is not too many teachers like on her level. Like that's
Amen.
legit. Like there's a guy, I won't name no names right now, but there's a guy selling a course right now for like almost 5 G's. And I looked at his YouTube page and everything like that not so long ago, selling it for 5 G's, and he tells them, I'm trading at a strong 73%. Nobody wins all their trades. I'm like that little meme face, like shit. Says who?
That's another thing, Jess. Can you elaborate on how you don't lose? Because they
She
keep
do it every
people
week.
keep
She
people
elaborate
keep
on it
talking.
every week.
People, I keep telling them, and
Jess
they're
knows how
like,
the
Why do
I
market
your
ran
face?
down.
moves.
Hey,
"This is."
peep
I
this.
keep
Peep this. I ran down the
they.
little thing, her notes that she gave out on how she don't lose trades. I ran
Listen,
it
she
down. I can read it
marks
for
up
you
and it
again.
I
goes there.
explain, I keep saying that, and it's like, oh, there's no way. That's impossible. That doesn't happen.
Because I don't take no trades that I'm not
That's what
sure about.
that's what I
But
keep
as long
telling
I
as
her.
I've
remember
been here,
when
the Sunday
Marcus
night
asked
calls
the
been
same
hitting.
question about his friends. He
She
said
said,
his friends told him, how in the world is that happening?
and
And
how often
you
That's
recited the
fact.
same thing for him.
That's
and how
fact.
often do you trade, Jess?
I mean, it just depends. But like this past week, I only took one trade.
Okay,
I don't need to place multiple trades on
right.
my account because you take a good trade, like a decent trade. Like I only like even at the beginning of the week. I mean, I give y'all literally the trades that I look at and the ones that I'm taking. Y'all can even go back to y'all remember even the old YouTubes where I used to give the full rundown, or even the ones where I mean, we can even go a few months back when I talked about that GU. I remember I had did the pre-recorded call and then just dropped it. And I was like, okay, this one I'm looking at long term, but this one I'm looking at right now. And then both of them just played out. It's just like, how is just because the market's open doesn't mean you have to get in, number one. Most people are crackheads for trades. And I literally do not place nothing that I'm not. Like I never have to go back to my phone having anxiety because I just don't place it if I'm not sure. Even at the beginning of this week, when I told y'all I don't like how the market's looking right now, like the fact that the DXY just broke this trend line, I'm not hopping in. Like it's just you have to wait. You just have to wait for the data to play out.
I got a question. I think it's online with what you're saying.
It's crazy because it's only a few of you guys. Y'all remember when I did that Zoom call and I showed that trading account?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So
And
do.
your
You cut.
babies.
I
Hey, cause
remember that.
Jessica, you cut YouTube off first, and then you scroll down. You opened your phone and scrolled it down.
No, that was on I think I did my Facebook on that one. I don't know, but either way, it's like, I don't know. It's just, I just don't play, like most people think just because the market's open, I have to get in. And then some people feel as though I have to trade every pair, or I have to have multiple trades going on in my phone at one time. Like, and a lot of people desire other people's lives, and a lot of people try to chase other people's profits. I just thank God that I just always wisdom. God gave me wisdom. Like, just because somebody's promoting, oh, I made $100,000 in a day on Instagram for egotistical reasons doesn't mean that I feel like I need to go and do that right now. Does that make sense? Like, you have to
Yes.
do
Yeah,
what
definitely.
feels good to you. Like, do what feels good. Like, you can have bigger goals and stuff like that. Cause like I even talked about it. Like, that's one of the things that even drew me to trading. Like, you can make 100,000 in a day. Like, what? Like, I never even knew that was possible. Like, growing up, I went to college so that we could make $100,000 in a freaking year. So even the conceptualization or the realization that somebody can make $100,000 in a day, like, it really just seems out of this world. You know what I'm saying? But then you just really realize, like, and then then the other thing also is just operating in abundance. That's the other thing, is like just knowing that it's meant for you, and then not chasing it, but letting it come to you. Like, even your trades, don't chase them, just let them come to you.
Or they may
Yes, I
sit
got
on
them.
their hands for a few months waiting for that $100,000 day.
Right. Just I got them trading rules. If you want me to run it down, just say the word. I
You know, you can run them down. Yeah, this is the trading plan call. Run them down. Run them down.
Jessica said a few months back, this is the things that she looks at before she even gets into a trade. She said, number one, what is major structure? Number two, what is minor structure? Three, is there a breaking structure? Four, what is the direction of the market? Five, what are your confirmations? Do I have divergence? And am I at a negative 61.8? Do I have a break and retest of a trend line? Do I have a break and retest of a high or low? Do I see bearish momentum? Do I see bullish momentum? Do I have wick exhaustion? Where am I at on my field level, on the pullback? Am I at a foundation level? And last but not least, where to get in, where to get out, and where is it going?
Amen.
Excellent.
Yeah, all of that.
You
That's
put that on your camera?
that's
I know you're reading it from somewhere. I'm gonna take a picture.
I
I'll
think
put it in
he
the
put
chat.
it in the
I'm
group
gonna
too.
type it out. I'm gonna type it out and put it in the chat right now.
All right, bet.
That'll work.
I want all of you guys to like just operate in that same spirit though. Like, I really wish, and I know everybody doesn't have the same lifestyle, right? But I do think that everybody on this call deserves to eat healthy. You have to treat your body correctly. You should work out. No judgment if you don't, but you should, because a lot of this stuff is mental clarity also. You should align yourself with God. I'm not forcing religion or spirituality on anybody, but understanding that we didn't wake ourselves up this morning and there was a higher power that literally even allowed us to be on this call right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, mentally, spiritually, physically, like emotionally. Um,
Preach, girl.
what are you doing to align yourself? Because I think, not even I think, I know that like you cannot operate in chaos,
Right.
you know? And so even if some people like, you know, you're experiencing, never say you're depressed ever. You can be experiencing a state of depression, but you are not depressed. Watch the words that you speak over yourself. Like, never use the word broke. Okay. I'm allergic to that word. It would never be in my vocabulary. Like, I don't think anybody should even use that word. You could just say, I don't have it to give right now. I don't have it to spare right now. You know, I'm working towards this number. Like, but never say, never ill. Just don't say that word. Um, I mean, really, that's pretty much it. Like, you just have to operate in a different space. And then when, like, people think that the secret and like all of that stuff is like BS, but it's honestly, your programming is your reality. You know what I'm saying? And when you focus on things that are like, if people are constantly living in the past or a state of anxiety or fear or anxiousness, not thinking positively, but always thinking like, oh, of everything that's going wrong. Because I know people who literally think of just everything that's going wrong. And then everything that's going wrong ends up being a physical manifestation in their lives. You know what I'm saying? And you also can't put other people's baggage on you. Like, even when I talked about the plate and the saucer, like, there are people in our lives that, you know, they are going to be needy. Like, trust me, I have them. Like, I have them. The people that every time they call, like, you look at the name and sometimes I won't even pick up because I know that when I answer this call, it's going to be a sob story. And that sob story just doesn't align with where I want my energy at right now. And that's another thing, filtering out your conversations, and people have to have permission to put their stuff on you. Everybody should not have access to just dump their stuff on you, especially with me. I'm an empath. I don't really want to know the problems. Like, let's figure out the solutions, because if we're only talking about the problems, we're going to stay in a problematic state. You know? And there are some people that are literally sad perfectionists, meaning that they have perfected the state of sadness, and they have perfected the state of depression. They have perfected the state of constantly having something wrong. And you guys have to be careful to make sure you are not trauma bonding, because people, we are humans, so we're gonna feel.
Misery loves company.
When you feel, like, when you care about, like, we cannot be humans and not care. Like, certain people's situations, like, I remember Michael asked me one time, he was like, why do you do more for some of them kids in Africa than you do for people here in America? And I was just like, well, I was offended by his question, actually. And I told him, because a lot of people in America, like, even when I think of my family members, like, they're lazy. You know what I'm saying? Some of my babies in Africa, they don't even have computers. Like, they don't have access to running water. Like, I'm talking about, you got to go to a well and then literally go boil your water to have clean water. And some people, and now this is not every part, okay? Let's first state that this isn't every part, but there are some places in villages and stuff like that where their stomachs are literally messed up, because by the time you walk 30 minutes to go get some damn water, you think you want to bring it back and boil it. Like, no, like, you're so thirsty, you want to just drink it there. So to have the people that are like that to be hungry for this skill set, I'm 100% going to help them, because they're hungry for it. Like, Seki is because his situation, I've seen where he lived. He never complains. Like, he never complains. Then I have people in America that have cars, that have houses, that have, it might not be the best car, you know, you might live in an apartment, but you still have a roof over your head. You have running water in your home. Like, you have so many different, you have a computer so that you can get on a call or go on the internet and seek out resources. You can go to a library and read books. Like, you have resources, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Jess, you're so right, the way you're analyzing all this, because yeah, not every part of Africa is like that, but you are so true in the way, like, you know, when they walk like half an hour or an hour, whatever, like all your analysis is like so right, because I'm from Africa originally, even though I live in Australia. And yeah, it's just, you've got it all right, because all correct, because like in the US, in Australia and everything, you know, our problems are like minor, complete, you know, and if we work really hard, we can achieve a lot of things, versus some in, you know, in Africa, in the villages and in war areas. There's so many civil wars, so on as well. Yeah.
Just if you look at the
Thank you.
people, if you look at the people back in the day, they like how like if you like read those books about like market wizards or whatever, them people had all the stuff them people had to do to trade. They had to go down. They had to move to New York or Chicago. Like we don't have to do that now. So like it really ain't no excuses.
Yeah.
I had a quick question with like in regards to the trading plan. I know like the lady, I basically did the same thing where I jumped the gun for my own reasons. And now I'm back. I redid the course. I'm back on my 4 weeks. Is that what your recommendation would be, to just keep doing the 4 weeks till we feel comfortable to where we get ourselves back? Basically, it might take a little longer than 4 weeks because we messed up, but redo that until we feel comfortable.
Yeah, the first thing is to constantly see the trades play out. So even if, let's say, like, even if you don't want to wait like the full 4 weeks, like what I mean by that is you can analyze on Sunday, and then once those trades play out, like you can analyze again if you have time throughout the week, like reanalyze for the next move that's going to happen. Because like you guys know, I try to be out the market by Tuesday, no later than Wednesday. But some people, like, I have taken trades on Friday sometimes because sometimes it's some good ass moves. You know what I'm saying? So like once those initial moves play out, then you can reanalyze and then make sure the next moves play out so that you don't have to just wait like, months, depending on how damaged your psychology is. Like the more you evaluate and constantly are like getting your trades correct, of course, it's going to build your psychology faster.
Thank you. And would you recommend just the bars pattern, or like actually trying to take entries? First bars pattern and then entries, or?
I would say if your psychology is really, really bad right now, only do bars patterns first. And then after you consistently see them play out for a certain amount of time, then start to integrate your entries.
Thank you so much.
No problem. All right, so let's get back to the trading plan. I knew I wasn't going to get through everything today, but I want to at least get through the clear objectives so we can move on to the next part. So next it is, oh no, we already talked about this part. Hold on. Okay, identifying your pairs. So we talked a little bit about this. You want to determine the portion of your overall portfolio allocated to Forex trading, okay? So again, number one, how much money are you setting aside for trading? But next, you want to avoid over concentration on one pair. Avoid over concentration on one pair to mitigate risk. Y'all know how to talk about analyzing. Y'all know how to talk about analyzing. Well, while you're in the course, you're doing 7 pairs. Now, of course, over time, you can like drop 2 or whatever, 3, but every single week, you should at least have a good like 3, at least 3. You never want to just stick to one because there's not going to always be a move. At least if you analyze 3 to 4 pairs every week. Now, of course, you could do all of the stuff that you had in the course if you like them all, but I gave you guys the 7 so that you can kind of see what you like and don't like. Because like, for instance, my GU or my GBP and my London people, like some people might not like Euro GBP, but some people could like GBP USD. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of depends on your interest. But I definitely always recommend just trading more than one pair. Like I do know I have some students that like will only trade gold. And then of course, like I talked about, just because the market's open doesn't mean you have to trade. So like if you're a super patient person or like you're okay with that, I would just want you to diversify just because you don't want to just be stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like if gold is just consolidating, you're not really comfortable in consolidation and stuff like that. Like you want to have options. Okay. Time. Define the time that you can commit to trading. This is important. And this is something that everybody should also do right now, because it's okay to desire something, but to actually be realistic about something is 2 different things. Define the time you can commit to trading, whether it's short-term or long-term, okay? Adjust risk and strategy based on time availability, all right? And what sessions are you trading? Meaning, prime example, when I was pregnant with Legend, I ain't really have time like that because I was sick as hell, throwing up all the freaking time, and I didn't have the capacity. Okay. After I popped out Legend, I started to have a capacity because he was sleeping all the time. But then as he started to get older, until I put him in daycare, I did not have the capacity. So there were only certain times that I would look at the market. Like I literally had a schedule. I would wake up and nurse him, and then I was trading London session while he was asleep because I knew that during the day he was going to be up. So I adjusted my schedule to fit my lifestyle at that time. Does that make sense? So everybody should do that. If you work a 9 to 5 job, okay, you have to change your schedule to be able to trade. If you have a job that you know you cannot look at New York session, but you still want to be successful at trading, there is no way you can do that without trading either one of those sessions if you live in the US. So let's say you Eastern Standard Time, and let's say you work a 9 to 5. You need to be to sleep throughout the day. Hold on, let me see. 8, 9, 10. That'll work.
Yes, I got a question.
You need to hold on, let me finish this real quick because y'all know my mom brain is kind of crazy sometimes. You need to be to sleep, let's say around some people might not think this is realistic, but it'll have to be. If you have kids, put them to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock so that you can be to sleep by 8 so that you can wake up by like 2:30 so that you can trade before you go into work. Like there's no other option, because if you are working a 9 to 5 and then you are very present at your job, is no way that you should just be like trying to get in trades in between working, because then you're not going to be fully present. Does that make sense?
I struggle with that a lot, just because it's that like when you get in versus when, like, yeah, let's say it's GU, and do you get in at like the European time or the London
Oh, no,
London
no.
time?
I definitely get in the US time. I mean, I'm sorry. I definitely get in the European time, the London time.
Yeah, the London time.
Yeah.
But
But you set your alerts first. So you will know. And that's another thing, is like when you set your alerts, like before you go to sleep, you can kind of see where the market is. Like if you see a little bit of momentum pushing in your direction, like typically the market, it'll be consolidating around like midnight, but you can still kind of see before you go to sleep, like if your alert is going to get hit or not. You know what I'm saying? Because mind you, also remember that you're not trading every day. So like, again, when I said that I like to be out of the market Tuesday, no later than Wednesday, is literally because I know that I'm not about to wake up. I remember, especially, I'm frozen.
Nah, you back. Never mind. You back.
Yeah, you were for a second. Yeah.
Okay. But like I remember even before I like I don't know how many people remember way back in the day, Jess, that used to be at WeWork like clockwork, literally at midnight, every single night. Like my entire schedule, I would go to WeWork at midnight and stay at WeWork, trade New York session. I mean, I'm sorry, trade London session, go to the place my trades, literally go to the gym at 5 a.m., go home, shower, and then be ready for New York session, and then go to sleep around 10 a.m. every single day. Like that was my life. So it's like, you just kind of have to tailor your life. If you are the type of person that you have a 9 to 5, the best way for you to do this is to literally go to sleep early, like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. That'll give you a good 7-ish hours, 7, 8 hours to wake up around 2:30. And then again, before you go to sleep, you can look to see, is my alert going to be hit that morning? Like you can kind of see where the market is in vicinity of what you're looking for.
And then 2:30 is Eastern Standard Time. So if you're Central, it'd be 1:30.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the California people, the West Coast people have the easiest because all they gotta do is stay up till midnight.
Do you recommend swing trading for someone who has a 9 to 5 job?
I was just about to ask you that.
Would I recommend swing trading for what?
For someone who has a 9 to 5.
For somebody who has a nighttime job?
A 9 to 5, so you can hold your trades longer.
No, I mean, I wouldn't recommend just because you have a 9 to 5. I would recommend just depending on your personality type. Because when I first started trading, I was a personal trainer and I literally worked throughout the day. Well, throughout the mornings time. I used to work
Got a
from
question, yeah, because I'm
4
from
a.m.
London and I
to
do night shifts, but I miss London sessions when I go in and like when I come in from home in the morning. So like I miss London and the New York sessions. Would you recommend to do more Japanese sessions during the night?
Japanese sessions just move way slower, but if that's your only option, then you definitely have to. Or do you work every day?
4 days a week.
4
4 days on, 4 days off.
4 days on, 4 days off?
Yeah.
Oh, just change it to when you're not working.
But then I'll be sleep because it messes up my sleeping
Oh
pattern.
yeah, no, I get that. I don't know. You gotta figure that one out. And
Yeah.
I ain't even trying to be funny. I'm just saying that like with that, I would just tailor it to the days that I'm not working and just sacrifice like because one of those days, like y'all know how I say I literally mark up Sunday and I'm at least out of the market by Tuesday. Like that's 2 days. So I know that I only really have to sacrifice Monday morning and Tuesday morning.
Mm.
Do you have any
So,
students
How
that
quick
swing
question,
trade?
quick answer to his thing, because I work 12-hour shift and I work swing shift, work nights and days. I drink a lot of coffee, man, and play loud music. Sometimes I'm upstairs and the music is just playing and I'm just on the market. Sometimes my eyes are burning, but you gotta push through sometimes.
Yeah, that sucks. But also like right here, and I talk about it a little bit in the next group of slides, but you have to decide like the short term versus long term because it's not gonna always be the same. You know what I'm saying? So even if you need to like sacrifice trading right now to just the skill set so that once your time opens up to where you can actively do profits more easier, then that's fine also. Like my student, y'all remember Malik, he was in the he's in the military and like I remember when he used to trade, like sometimes he couldn't trade like New York session. Like he used to trade gold heavily and sometimes he couldn't trade New York session because of his schedule. All right, so last slide on this. Review. You always want to review periodically, so you want to reassess goals and risk tolerance regularly, especially if there are changes in personal or financial circumstances. So our changes in our personal is like what we talk about with the job, so forth and so on. We're gonna go into trading execution next week. Or I mean, honestly, we can go into it on tomorrow's call if y'all want. On a Monday night call, or y'all want to leave that for questions?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow sounds
for
good.
sure.
Tomorrow's
Okay.
fine.
All right. So the only thing about tomorrow is I have some of my old students. So maybe I'll make tomorrow's call a YouTube, even though it kind of technically wouldn't be like the special Monday call for you guys because it's just like it would be for everybody. But if y'all want to finish this tomorrow, then we can. So that's up to y'all.
Jessica,
Is there
quick
a way we can
question.
get the slides?
The link. How do we consistently get the link so we can log on time? Because I find that I have to be
It's
searching
not
for it
you.
through.
It's not you, it's me. So, my Zoom link, I don't know. Like, I need to cancel. I'm gonna cancel out all my links because it says that somebody's on my meeting, which is weird.
Yes.
So I'm gonna cancel out all my links because I'm not on a previous Zoom. So I'm gonna
Okay.
cancel out everything and I'm gonna change my Zoom password and then I'm gonna drop y'all a link so that y'all have for tomorrow.
All right,
Hey
good deal.
Jessica,
And
is it a way that we
where do
can
we look for that
sorry.
on Facebook?
Yeah, I'll put it in a Facebook for you.
Okay, good deal. Thanks.
No
When would
worries.
you do that,
Hello.
Jess?
Yes.
for tomorrow's call.
No,
Jess.
when
Wait, somebody, when will I do what? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, Jeff?
I can hear you.
Is there a way we can get the slides?
Yeah. Let me finish the whole presentation and then I'll put it in
Yeah.
y'all Facebook group.
Okay.
are you gonna drop the link tonight or tomorrow or?
For tomorrow, the link for tomorrow, it'll be dropped tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. It'll be in your Facebook group.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Jess, was it any
Okay.
updates trading trip at all or no?
Oh, nah. Give me a moment on that.
Okay.
Let's go to Six Flags.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Well, thank you.
Bye.
All right, thank